Ace Universe Comic-Con. How's everybody doing? The Ace Universe is, yes, that's exciting. The Ace Universe is being born today, and a big part of it is the stuff on stage this weekend. There's going to be a lot of famous actors. There's going to be a lot of famous wrestlers. There's also the showroom, and we have a lot of the big collectors are going to come here and find a lot of treasures. There's all kinds of industry associated with that. I'm here with James Spence III, and you have a very interesting niche within this industry and within this culture. Tell us a little bit about your company, JSA.
Yeah, we do. We authenticate autographs. We have two offices, one in Parsippany, New Jersey, the other in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I flew up here yesterday. It's a little colder than South Florida. But no, it's a great venue that Ace has here, and some of the biggest headliners I've seen in a while. And I've been at a lot of Comic-Cons, and it's a new thing for us. We predominantly started off in sports memorabilia, and I'd say about 6-7 years ago we started getting involved more into entertainment autographs. That seems to be the trend, especially with a lot of the millennials. They're collecting a lot of more entertainment autographs versus the sports stuff.
And one of the things that you hear about the autograph industry is the need for security of knowing what you're getting. That's a big reason that your company even exists. Talk a little bit about that for the average buyer. The buyer beware. What would you say to someone who just really desperately wants to get themselves a Stan Lee autograph or a Dan Marino autograph or an Undertaker autograph on something that already exists?
So yeah, to buy with confidence, especially on a platform like eBay, you want to, you're investing good money into autograph, and you want to make sure that it's authentic. And you can look for JSA on eBay, Amazon, and buy confidently that you know your autograph is authentic. There's so many forgeries out there. You see them every day, and depending on the value of the autograph, there's a high percentage that it might be a forgery. And for instance, a Michael Jordan autograph, we see about 90% of a failure rate when a Michael Jordan autograph is submitted, and it's a pretty crazy statistic. And I'm not saying this.
9 out of 10?
9 out of 10 times Michael Jordan fails our authentication process. Something like Stan Lee, you're probably looking at about 3 out of 10. Highly collectible. Guy signs a lot. He's an old man too, and he's in his 90s.
Yeah.
And he's still attending the cons. In fact, he's going to be at the Ace Comic-Con in Glendale.
That's right, next month. I'm very excited about interviewing him there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stan's the best. With the autographs, I'm a comic book collector since I was a kid. I had thousands and thousands of comics. And in that arena, a lot of times autographs on a comic book weren't necessarily an addition to value. A lot of people don't like comics that are autographed. Has that changed at all, or is it a marketplace quirk?
It's changed on a few comics. That the very high-end comics, as an autograph enthusiast, I would still suggest that you do not get, Superman 1 signed by one of the artists that's still alive. It would depreciate the value of your comic. So you have to be absolutely careful in what you get signed. There's certain movie props or certain piece of memorabilia that might have more value than if it were signed by an individual that participated in that movie. So you got to be careful. Do your research. See what these items are going for in auction, and you just got to be smart about what you're collecting and what you're about to invest in as far as getting something signed.
And what would be one of the a short list, say, of the most alluring autographs, or maybe the most challenging autographs, both for folks who are still living and then for the more historic?
I'd say the most difficult autographs to authenticate are the newer style autographs where they're just hastily signed with a check mark, like Al Pacino, for instance. It's nearly impossible to authenticate the guy's autograph. He signs a lot. I mean, you catch him at a movie premiere, that guy will sign everybody's piece, but to look at the substance of his autograph, it's very hard to determine if he actually signed that after the fact. So Al Pacino's a peculiar one, and we tend to go inconclusive on the guy a lot. But there's certain guys, that take pride in their autograph. Gal Gadot, for instance, she has a wonderful autograph, and she actually signs from right to left. It's it's in Hebrew. You sign from right to left. So definitely take a good look at when she signs an autograph. You'll find it very interesting.
Oh, that's fascinating. What would you say would be some of the more artistic, either in the flow or just the presentation, someone that has a really, like I remember Will Eisner had a very beautiful signature, just the composition of it. But what are some of the people that jump off the page when you see their autographs?
I'm always impressed by the signers that draw, like, they're a face portrait. Like, for instance, Dave Matthews, the Dave Matthews Band, he'll draw a face portrait of himself, if you give him a canvas. Trey Parker, the guy that came out with South Park, he'll draw Carmen, he'll draw, Kenny. These guys go out of their way and do, spend a few seconds, but they'll give you a piece of, their artwork, and I find that very cool. It just adds a little bit more to your experience with the star.
You live in South Florida. I grew up in South Florida, and I went to my first comic book convention in South Florida back in '82, Miami Con, as just a kid, as a fan.
Yeah.
And I knew that they would be selling comics there, and I was amazed to find all the other things that came with it: magazines and toys and posters and lunchboxes. And over the years, we've seen that the breadth of that offering just explode. I mean, you have minifigs and you have vinyl figures and all this amazing stuff. And then there's all the other things like, the autographs and authentication. But there's also like the slabbing of the comics and the appraisals of that. There's so many ways that this culture has expanded. Do you see that expansion continuing? Can the center hold? Do you see the films that come out and all the toys and all this the merchandise that goes with them being sustainable over a long period of time, or do you think that we're in a peak moment?
Autographs continue to appreciate in value, kind of like what Bitcoin is doing right now. I mean, it's you're looking for that that ceiling, but it becomes it's becoming very, very popular. Like you said, but back 20 years ago, it was mostly trading cards and comic books, all unsigned stuff. But we're seeing an up and up trend, and I look at hundreds of autographs every day in our Florida office, and it just continues to intensify with the amount of submissions and trips that we're going on. We attend numerous cons throughout the country and sports shows throughout the country. We're even getting into Canada and doing a lot of the hockey shows up there. But I see an upward trend here, and I for one invest in autographs. I'll invest in an autograph that the guy's dead and he's no longer signing. I find that's probably the best investment. Like a Jerry Siegel signed Superman newspaper, or somebody like a Heath Ledger, who's instilled in Batman comics, and he's not signing a lot anymore. And let's face it, there's very, very few Heath Ledger related Batman pieces out there.
No, that makes sense, because his death came so the timing was so tight to the release of that film, and before it came out. A lot of people that come to Comic-Con end up as the next generation of talent. A lot of the talent that's here in the conventions like this went to conventions as kids. So we know a lot of the kids that are here, among them are going to be filmmakers and movie stars and comic book artists and digital artists and video game designers of all kinds. They're going to have to sign autographs. What would you give them as advice for coming up for a particularly cool autograph? If you're starting with the next generation of the collectors, the talent, what would you say, here's a couple things you should do to make your autograph especially memorable or especially distinctive?
I would definitely go for the photo op. You're never going to forget this experience with this star that you just watched a great movie or you followed for such a long period of time. photo op is essential. I mean, you're going to show this to your children, your grandchildren. It's almost becomes more valuable than the autograph because it's just that personal value that you have. But as far as the autograph is concerned, I would avoid getting personalizations to James, to Robert, to Jeff. I would focus more on inscriptions. We've noticed that a lot of autographs that are selling now are going for far more value with inscriptions. So if you can get Gal to sign, Wonder Woman, it would increase the value of her autograph. And it's in the end, if you no longer enjoy the piece, there might be a few Jameses out there that would love, two James. But let's face it, you want to open that market up to the world. And that would be my best advice if you're going to go get an autograph. Load it up on inscriptions, if they'll do it for you.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I suppose if they personalize it, then as its value in perpetuity is limited. Like to people that have the same name as you. Is that so? Essentially, what you're saying?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and then for the up and coming folks now, who would be some of the people that you actually like the content of their autograph? Like you mentioned Gal's signature having like some interesting qualities. Are there some other people like that?
It's very few. There's they don't teach cursive in school anymore, from what I've heard, and it's kind of mind blowing. So you're not going to get that crazy intricate way of signing your name, and for one, John Hancock, and they took pride in their name. You could see every single letter. Just trying to think about other than Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa has a beautiful signature. Yeah, you should check it out. And he's going to be here tomorrow. That's one that is cool to look at. It's like, wow, I can actually see that it's Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Some guys you would never know that it's their autograph unless somebody told you.
Do you see with technology now, and especially with phones that have stylus or something like that, people do a selfie with a famous person and then have them autograph that? I suppose, that doesn't really help with resale or perpetuity of an investment, but that's sort of an interesting trend, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty interesting. It's I guess that's popular on Snapchat, where the athlete will sign their phone and they can snap it out to their friends. But doesn't it disappear after a while?
I suppose Snapchat does, but I guess if you have that image in your phone, the original image, I suppose you could do something with it. But I probably authenticating it's not gonna help anybody. No,
yeah, I would prefer something in ink, where you get somebody to sign something in a metallic paint pen, where you have a Thor hammer and you get Hemsworth to sign it. Sure. It's just it's a much more displayable piece that you can have in your home, in your entertainment room. It's a cool conversation piece.
Does it ever surprise you that, and surprise in a pleasant way because of your business, but how instinctive it is for people to ask for autographs? I mean, it's a tradition that goes back a long ways, but it's almost the de facto response to seeing a famous person is either to ask for a photo or an autograph, which is interesting because we don't have signatures that are recognizable all over the world, or even particularly pretty anymore.
It's gotten overwhelming too for a lot of celebrities, to the point where they'll sign 10, they'll have a security guard line up the fans, like Paul McCartney, for instance. When he lands in certain spots, and a lot of the autograph chasers know where Paul's going to go and what private airport he's going to fly into. He actually has a designated person that will line up. He'll say, all right, Paul's only going to sign for 15 people. He's not going to sign for anything Beatles related. It needs to be either a photo of him or a Wings piece. And he'll go ahead and sign the 15 pieces. But if somebody gets out of line, he shuts it down and goes on his way. Yeah. So it's gotten pretty intrusive for a lot of these celebrities, and quite honestly, they just have to be concerned more about their safety, too. I mean, we all see the news, and there's a series of unfortunate events where celebrities were signing autographs, and they've gotten to unfortunate circumstances. But you know, it's I see, you know, some celebrities. It's like, wow, you know, how would I react if I had 100 people that I needed to sign an autograph for? I want to make everybody happy, but at the same time, it's impossible. See, Matt Damon signed 60 autographs for one chaser.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. There's people that take pride in it. I had you know, everybody's got a story, I suppose, with autographs. When I was 15, I went to a Miami Dolphins football game. It was a Monday night football game against the Chicago Bears, 1985 season. The Bears would go on to win the Super Bowl. They only lost one game all year, and it was the Miami Dolphins on a Monday night. Dan Marino lit them up. The Dolphins, my favorite team. But I stayed behind at the stadium, at the visitors' locker room, and Walter Payton came out, you know, and everybody else was on the team bus. That amazing team, you know, Jim McMahon and Steve McMichael and you know, just Mike Singletary and just amazing Willie Galt. They were all on the bus and very angry, and Walter stood there and he signed all these autographs, and from the bus they yelled, "Walter, we got to go." And he looked around at all the kids. He said, "Does everybody have an autograph?" And like 15 more hands went up, and he said, "I'll take a cab." And the team bus left, and he stood there and he signed autographs. Wow. That's the last autograph I ever asked for, and the only autograph I ever really need, because I was just so impressed.
Yeah, it's total class act, Walter Payton.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things, and yeah, he died way too early.
Yeah, sweetness they called him, and for a good reason, right?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, guy was a class act.
So for folks, again, that are looking for autographs, you would tell them, try to have an item that could be cool to have autographed, and if you're buying something that's autographed, just try to make sure you're buying something that's real. Like if 9 out of 10 Jordan autographs are fake, that's a pretty sad situation for a lot of consumers.
It is, you know, and you know, it's not my favorite thing in the world to give bad news, but it's part of my job. And you know, I always tell people it's good peace of mind to know, you know, what you have. You know, your father might have given this Michael Jordan to you, or you know, this Adam West autograph. And you want to make sure that, you know, that thing is genuine, so you can pass it along to your family with confidence.
Sure.
It's very, very important.
That's fantastic. And on a personal level, this weekend, is there something that you're particularly looking forward to? There's so much to see here. I know we have some big wrestler fans coming in here pretty soon for some major panels up here tonight. But for this weekend, what are you looking forward to?
You know, I'm looking forward to, you know, just meeting a lot of the fans here, you know, to talk about what we do at JSA and how important it is to have your item authenticated. Even though you see your item get signed in person, it's still a wonderful investment to have JSA back up your autograph to make sure, like, hey, you know, 10, 15 years from now, I'm going to pass this along to, you know, a person that you know, is going to enjoy this the same way, and I want to make sure that, you know, they're going to be in good standing and have the right paperwork and have the right certifications. So, you know, I'm looking forward to speaking to you know, a lot of the fans here, and hopefully I'll get to meet that guy Jason Momoa. He's pretty cool on Game of Thrones. Yeah,
oh yeah, he's great and everything, and I can't wait to see his autograph now. So what a treat. Thank you for your time today.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
And again, WWE fans, stay put. Some big exciting stuff coming this way right now. So thanks again for Ace Universe Comic-Con.